Hello, the ambassador. We are just about to start. Thank you for everybody to be on time. And I would like to say thank you to our distinguished guests and participants to join this webinar. Our University of Business and International Studies has an honor to host today's speaker, His Excellency Mr. Artem Rybchenko, Ukrainian ambassador in the Swiss Confederation. This is a remarkable opportunity to get to know from the side of experienced diplomat how the diplomacy world has changed in the last 3 months. We have our provost of UBIS, Mr. Dr. Rodrigo Munoz, who will be helping me to monitor the open lecture. There are some general rules for participants. We do not interrupt the speech of ambassador. Time for questions will be delivered in the second part of presentation. Either please switch on the camera, present yourself and ask the question. Or if you are shy to speak on public, we have a chat message where you can type your question and we will announce it as moderators. Please, I would like to make you aware that webinar is on record. We are making it live today on the 25th of June, 2020. And I would like to give a round of applause to Mr. Ambassador, and you have a floor to start, sir.
Thank you, dear Ina, dear professor, dear guests, dear colleagues. Great to see you and hear you all online. Yes, the world has changed, and this will be probably one of the main topics today. I would like to focus not only on Corona and pandemic and all the feedbacks about it, because I think we're all tired and we would like to see about the future and what is going on today, but also to focus especially on the Swiss-Ukrainian relations, which I'm responsible for on my duty here in Bern. And of course, I would, with great pleasure, try to answer fully and deeply all the questions you have. So, as I have mentioned, we have to agree that the world has changed. Now we have before and after COVID 2019. Someone call it 19, some call it pandemic, but of course we have to admit and to face all the changes and running a little bit in front of maybe your questions. How will the world change? What will be the new issue of second half of 2020? I will say everyone will focus probably on going through the results and the challenges brought to us, to our world, with this very unusual and very deep situation in all spheres. So it's not only economy which will probably face for the first phase this type of experience, and the important thing that if we date back to other crises, it's usually a regional crisis or a special land crisis or a special type of crisis. Now we face a big topic worldwide. All continents, all countries, people, no matter you're a medical or a teacher or a student, everyone faces this. And we have to admit that unfortunately we suffer, and we suffer. Now we have two opportunities: to become stronger, more flexible for future, or we just sit and wait for the world to be changed. I'm not talking about drama, I'm talking about real life. I think every one of you, and as far as I know from Ina, that we have today people from different parts of the world, and we all know that each country has a special situation. And now, as I mentioned, the second half of the year will be focused probably on how to go out of this, first of all, economical and social situation, smooth, soft, and hopefully transparent. Why transparent? Because politicians do different issues, and we all understand that sometimes politics it's a game, and not always we are on the focus. Talking about what has changed, what has already changed, and what has happened. Example, I like examples. The first ever state visit of the federal president of Switzerland was supposed to come to Ukraine with a state visit end of March. Unfortunately, we had to postpone it. Now with an open date, we are working on the new dates, hopefully soon. We'll see how the situation will in Ukraine and in Switzerland. But it's not just the visit. It's a direct influence on our bilateral relations. As the investor number 5 or top 5 investors into Ukrainian economy, Switzerland was supposed to bring new program 2020-23. It's called the cooperation program. It's more about technical and humanitarian cooperation, but we all understand that such type of programs, they always base on business, they always base on economy. So this was postponed. It's still in force. We prepare, but this is the first step. The business delegation from Swiss side was supposed to join the federal president, Mrs. Samaruga, with her visit in Kiev. And not only Kiev, and I underline it's other regions, which is very important during the state visit. This is in diplomacy a must have or must do if you come with a state visit. And the state visit, this is the highest level of the official visits of bilateral relations. So business delegation was supposed to bring new ideas, at least. Sometimes new contacts bring new contracts. And this was postponed again. As the follow-up, I was planning to hold and host a big business event back here in Switzerland as the follow-up of the visit. And this was postponed as well. So now we see the chain of many steps, unfortunately, postponed for our diplomatic and economical relations. If we talk and face something like this, and now we understand and look on the big map of our world, of our all continents, can you imagine how many postpones were made? I just brought to you one example, and this is a concrete example of millions and billions of francs, US dollars, euro, whatever. But now we face diplomacy and economy, and directly we face business, because what is diplomacy? It's not only about the politician issue, it's also about economy. And I'm, as an ambassador here in Switzerland, my job is to build a bridge between Ukraine and Switzerland for business people, for businessmen and ladies, who will contact directly after we do all the high-level politician talks and examples, which are very important, because each visit is a signal for investor or for human being that we have great relations. I had an article a few months ago, just in the middle of this pandemic shutdown, and I said that we have to face that it will be before and after pandemic, but Swiss-Ukraine relations for sure will keep being fruitful, friendly, and this is very important, that the world has changed, but human beings, the relations between countries and people, this is the most important. Of course, we prepare not only talkings and meetings, we prepare different information and different presentations. I think, Ina, do you have something typical for that to present? Or should I face our people?
Your Excellency, you can share your screen so that you can manage the presentation and slides that you wish to show.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, this is Ukraine, your investment destination. So I think we can share it with all our colleagues by email, because it will take 30 5 or even more pages.
Okay, we will send to all the participants.
And this will be a possibility to see all the details, all the numbers, but a few very important issues. Important issues talking about Swiss-Ukraine relations, for example. This is the easiest example for me, is that relations are built not in one day, and you have to keep it and trust it, and transparency and feeling of needs of country or regions is very important. We always like to say a friend in need is a friend indeed. And this is indeed so, because facing back 2014, unfortunately, my country has faced an uneasy period, and we still face them, talking about Crimea, so-called unofficial referendum, and also the situation in Eastern Donbass region of Ukraine. And it takes a lot of resources. It's time, it's people, it's money, it's everything what we build. We have to invest into our east part of country, because I hope you all know, if you study international relations and international business, and facing back to reality, what we have in Donbass. Donbass, it used to be the strongest part for hard so-called hard industry, and for our country today we miss this part. We miss our people, we miss part of our economy. So what I'm trying to say, that in generally we have to focus not only the specific regions or specific issues. We have to face that reality is sometimes different and sometimes unexpected. And Switzerland, once again, back 2014, was one of the first countries, and we're very much thankful, and we appreciate, and we will remember for forever that great step of that time. President Bukata, as the foreign minister, visited Kiev as the head of the OSCE mission. At that year, back 2014, Switzerland was presidential, was heading OSCE mission, and the first very important steps were taken at that time. I was responsible as the state government, not as a special envoy, but as special person in the presidential administration responsible for that. I must tell you, it was a 24/7 work, and international relations, international partners, this was the main focus at that time. Of course, after Maidan came out and went to east part of our country to protect our borders, to save our land. Of course, it was a possibility to save more, but then the Russian Federation, and they say we are not there, we are not taking part in this conflict. But unfortunately, it is so. All the weapons and hard part of that period was supported by so-called backed up Russian rebels. So I was trying briefly to explain that we have a lot of changes in the world. Back 2014, it was enemy with a weapon in his gun, a weapon in his hands. Today we have an enemy, invisible enemy, but we still face them and we feel them. And my main point, we have to be ready and we have to be prepared to face all the challenges, and not waiting just aside for someone to do something for us, but being a part of this process, being a part of solving the issues. This is a very important job of every diplomacy person, economical person, businessman, a woman or a lady, or just being a human being. As a very good example in Switzerland, just regular people have helped old people to bring food or to help with the medicine because they were limited going out on the streets or to the stores. So this is starting from human being and going up to high-level diplomacy and political issues. This is the combination of not only transparency of relations, this is the possibility to make our world better, cleaner, and of course successful. This is briefly. I can go on for longer, but of course I would like to focus maybe myself on your questions and try to maybe discuss or explain, or how can I be helpful. Looking forward. Thank you very much for your attention. And Ina, now the floor is yours, and our colleagues as well.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. We have actually some questions already sent by our students, and I will let myself to start with it. They are asking what sectors of Ukrainian economy right now are in the priorities?
Well, we say our country, it's the focus of minds and brains. Minds and brains, what we mean is that agro sector, it's one of the most important locomotives of our economy. Even if you see you see our flag, it's blue and yellow, which means the yellow is on the bottom, if you see well, yes, and then the blue on the top. The yellow, it's about the wheat, what we grow, and the blue is about the peaceful sky upon our country. So agro is a very important sector, and of course, being modern and being younger generation, maybe IT sector is very also important, because we have over 100,000 IT special people, specialists. They have studied IT sector, and now they're very much helpful for many countries. Of course, we try to save our smart men in our country. We understand it's a lot about doing online issues, but I would focus on Ukraine agro and Ukraine IT, but also it will be in the presentation. You can see this later on. Food and agri, metallurgy, transportation, mineral products, chemical products, wood and paper pulp. So this is top priorities. And of course, we have to admit that trade has also changed its rules, because before we have a lot of products worldwide from Asia. For several months, it was limited by only logistical issues. And at this point, we face not only challenges, we face also possibilities, and we have to be quick to make steps towards our partners and saying, okay, this takes time to deliver. Let's do this with us, because we can propose something the same way, the same standard, the same quality, the same price, sometimes even cheaper. Because at some point, people, big business, it's a machine, and it's not about lazy things, it's about standards. And you have to use the special time to focus and to bring for your country something special. Together with Switzerland, we're opening a very big project. It has some issues to do with the COVID and medical issues, but we took the best quality and the best knowledge of ETH Zurich, Technical University of Zurich, which is very respected worldwide, and our men and our possibilities of production, and we brought together this puzzle. I will not open fully, unfortunately, till the next week. We sign a memorandum. I'm personally with the Minister Kassis, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Switzerland. But hopefully, if you follow Switzerland and Ukraine, you will see the more detailed information in 1 week. And of course, we're looking into deeper cooperation, having this visit, the visit of the federal president, and our team is very much involved in serving and bringing all the best to what we have. So talking about the spheres, they're unlimited. It's just the focus and the right way to bring it to our partners.
Thank you. That was a brilliant answer, and I see that we got some fresh news before the media got the news.
Yeah, we keep track.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to establish a dialogue with you. I know that our students are honored by this opportunity, as I am. You spoke about COVID. In the scientific community, there's a consensus is coalescing. The significant portion of this problem of COVID is directly or indirectly related to global warming, to climate change. And in geopolitics, when we take a look at the pressure points that Russia has applied to the Ukraine is the energy sector, their ability to shut off the gas at will. What measures has Ukraine taken to diversify its input in order to limit their dependency on the East and also to mitigate global warming?
Yeah, well, dear Professor, it's correct saying that the ecology issue is a very important part of our world. And I think that the results of parliamentary elections in Switzerland back in 2019, we saw the results of the two green parties having very successful results. I think this is really an important signal to the world, because Switzerland is an important player, partner worldwide. We're not talking about the amount of land, we're talking about the amount of people thinking about the land. And I think this is Swiss standard, you know, it's worldwide known, and we give a big responsibility to keep this high level quality of our relations. And coming back to your question concerning influence of the Russian Federation in my country, unfortunately it was so for many years. Always end of December used to be a terrible time for all our prime ministers, no matter the name of the prime minister, because it was in his hands or her hands sometimes to bring 1st of January warm to our homes and our families. And I'm telling warm, directly warm, because sometimes it was shut down for Ukraine, for our European countries. It was a tool of influence, how Ukraine looks like in the world strategy. We had some hard times with Hungary, for example, yes, because the gas was delivered through Ukraine by our very special gas system, energy system, directly to our European countries, our European partners. And Russians used to try to sell it like we are the bad boys and we're not delivering it. But today I have to mention that with Hungary we have a good track with the new minister Kuleba. He was visiting Hungary a few weeks ago, and today these days the foreign minister of Hungary is in Kiev. So we're rebuilding our relations in some issues. You know, neighbors, sometimes it's an issue to discuss, and sometimes you have to do this reload thing. So coming back to 2014-15, the leadership of our country decided no more drug Ingel, yeah. So this drug used to be for us the gas from Russian Federation, and we have started buying it from Europe. And now we also test the complication with the United States of America through Poland, for example, one of the channels, NLG. So we are facing uneasy periods, but we keep ourselves strong. And I think it's a good saying, anything which comes as an facing issue makes us stronger if you do it the right way. And this is the perfect example how we can change the situation and not depend and not waiting for the end of December, thinking, okay, will we get that price or will we get that amount on whatever. So this is pretty much the way we do our diplomacy, because any big politician, it's a diplomacy issue. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ambassador, I have the question from the administration part. What would be your advice for current students who are studying diplomacy and international relations around the world? We have here Swiss students, Vietnamese students, Polish, Ukrainians. What would be the practical tools for the students?
Well, today you have a very special period and a special time of possibilities. What I mean, as we do now, we're not sitting at the same round table, or we're not meeting at the conference personally. We do everything online. And your generation, student generation, have this special time and possibility to make quick steps and run before some other generations, with big respect to all generations. But I think this is a time when you can use this type of communication, type of possibility to connect worldwide. As Ina has mentioned, now we have at the same period people from different time zones, from different lands and countries. So this is IT, online, ICT, you can call it anyway, but this is your time. I remember, without any special commercials for some companies, but Pepsi used to have this for the new generation logo, or it was a commercial. So now this is your generation when you can use this special time. But it's not just going online and talking to your friends or talking to your partners. You have to keep your track on issues. For example, I personally have maybe 5 sets, and I follow them every day, worldwide. Of course, Ukraine, of course, Switzerland, of course, world banking infrastructure issues, of course, energy, ecology, and this type, and something else, which means what comes up every day new. So this is my homework for my everyday job, apart from what we do as professionals. My suggestion for you to find for yourself, and you have to like it. You have to love your job and not thinking, oh, tomorrow I have to go to work. Sometimes on the weekends, enjoying my family, I still have to think, okay, tomorrow is Monday, and I sometimes miss Monday because I have so many ideas during the weekend, over the weekend, that I want to come to my office as soon as possible and really start, creating things. So you have to, for yourself, find what is special for you, what is coming from your soul, from your heart, and keep track on that. If you fall off, and it's always possibility to come back on the bridge, but don't break the bridge.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah,
Do the
if I may
students
follow
or
up on that
faculty?
question. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
If
I would like
follow
to.
up on Your Excellency. A lot of the people that will be listening to your words either later today or tomorrow are undergraduate students. And from a practitioner's perspective, why is it important for young people to study international relations? What does it add to them? And seeing from someone who has reached the pinnacle of a career in what I think many of us aspire to when we think of international relations. Please, your insight and your recommendations as to why this is a good area of study, because it's not something that is like engineering, where there's a sure, easy job, and it's a very clear to identify. What would you tell a young person?
Well, being a diplomat, you have to know all the engineers' issues as well. which makes the world wider, and your skills as well. Facing back or dating back maybe 10 years ago, I was starting my first years of my career in this sphere, in the foreign policy. And actually, how I came to this, maybe I can open up. I used to do a Ukrainian folk dance for 8 years, and in my country it's very popular. And it was a possibility also to travel a lot with my not the band, but my group of my colleagues back being in school, in elementary school, in high school, but school before university. And I used to travel a lot, and my school I was going to, it was a specialized English speaking school, so it was very focused on English language. We had it every day, several times a day. So, and I thought, well, with dance will overcome myself at some point, and sooner or later I have to quit. I have to finish, you know, because studying in university, it's another type of life. But I was thinking, how can I keep this part of the whole world in my life? And I said, yes, English language or whatever. Now it's also German language, and studying international relations. This is the way, this is the key to the door to the world. And also being a diplomat, I know now a lot of other professions, frankly speaking. Especially now, I'm more medician. Back 2014, unfortunately, more military issues. And it's always about the situation. It's also about the sphere of the country. It's also about the sphere of the communication. You have to be a lawyer. You have to be a little bit of businessman, not talking about doing business, but talking about understand how it is done, how it is run, and what is the best way to present your country, to present your business opportunity. Always keep on track on success stories, life success stories. So this is really a job that it's 24/7. You go to sleep as a diplomat and you wake up as a diplomat, because you have to keep the track on all the issues and the time zones as well. So very shortly answer, you have a great opportunity to see the world and feel it as well.
I have, dear Ambassador, thank you very much for being with us today again.
Hello.
Of UBIS again. My name is Daniel Roura. I work at UBIS actually, and one of my key positions is kind of represent and conduct the relationships of UBIS with its international partners. So it's kind of a private diplomacy, so to speak. And my background is also in international relations, so I kind of feel very identified.
Part of our team.
Exactly. So my next question related, the first question was why it's important to study, or why someone should study international relations. So for someone who already took that decision, my question would be, which are the best practices of a professional in international relations that you could advise? One very simple that came to my mind, it's, okay, you need to read the newspapers every day. That's very basic. But which other ones you believe, or would you suggest to a student that wants to enter into the IR world?
Yeah, thank you for your question. Of course, we all have a Bible, yes, and this is the #1 document for our life. But we have, for myself, I have around 10 more, not Bibles, but very important, every day or 1 week a day. What we see, for example, right here without commercial, I have just started here the Economist. Yeah, this is one of the main good things, but it's important not to focus on one newspaper or whatever, because you have to balance. You have to get news from all parts of the world, and you have to to understand. Another one here is what I'm trying to do, the classics. It's in Ukrainian. It's the translation of Churchill. So this is also something I have on my desk, what I try to reach every day. And actually, we were not preparing this question, but it's happened this way. And then we have auf Deutsch Wirtschaft in 30 Sekunden. So you have to also think of some simple things, because sometimes in very short thing you see it's only here. It's very short, but sometimes you find very interesting, important point, and it has not to be a long report. Sometimes blink and you receive something, you get something what you need. What else I have here? I have my Ukrainian journal. Sometimes I write there inside, so sometimes it's also important that, you know, it's not very good looking sometimes, but sometimes going back to this and thinking what you saw or you heard, then it's good to remind yourself about something. So there is not a pill about that. It's about how you build your day. It's about how you build your working strategy, because I want tomorrow to sign a memorandum. It's not possible just tomorrow, because it has to be pre-work, it has to be good relations, it has to be with your partners, I mean, and it has to be an everyday based work. So my suggestion is to, of course, base on the worldwide famous and very important mass media, because today mass media, we go online and it's very quick. And also to use some classical things like writing with your hands.
It is very interesting what you said on writing with your own hand, because it's something that it's kind of old-fashioned. I think myself is like the last generation taking notes like that. So it's a very interesting point. And the other question,
I will try to look better next time.
and the next thing, it's reading everything. No, read everything that what you can get. It's very impressive, actually. That's something that students in a period of COVID situation and social media, with all the fake news and all this kind of stuff, trying to determine the type of data, it's very also important.
Yes, fake news, cybersecurity, one of the issues we're facing today worldwide. I'm trying to say worldwide very often, because we know that we have colleagues from different parts of the world, and pretty much the global situation is very, very simple and very same, because, for example, Ukraine has faced a very big and unfortunately hard cybersecurity, how do you say softly, diplomatically, possibility to face this experience, not very good experience. And we all know from which part of the world it was coming. But at the same time, visiting some of the conferences and some of the very important here in Switzerland events like cybersecurity days, which take place in Fribourg. I know that our colleagues from Switzerland had the same situation, and probably from the same region of the world. So this is something where we can be helpful for each other, and this is really a step towards each other, where we can exchange of experience. And if we talk about IT sphere, we understand this is sometimes every hour based, not even every day based, because the situation has changed in the last 5 years, very, very concrete. And Switzerland now very much involved in the IT technologies, smart things, smart deals. We also have a good projects with a smart city. Our delegation from Kiev, which is Kiev is in top 35 worldwide smart cities, sorry for that, but where it is. And I was proud of my country, of my colleagues, presenting from Kiev very interesting solutions of making our life easier, more transparent sometimes, at the same time more secured. And we have here Mrs. Estelle from Switzerland. We had a very unexpected meeting with the mayor of the federal capital of Switzerland, Bern, in Kiev. And Estelle is also studying Ukrainian language. I think languages is important, and visiting new countries and new cultures, it's also important. So you never know if you meet people, you never know what you find with a new culture. Maybe your relatives from past come from other regions that you're located in now. So IT technology and cybersecurity issues, it's very important today, and I think this is in Kiev we have a very important, very famous national Ukrainian national university named after Taras Shevchenko. Taras Shevchenko is a writer. I have here on my also desk his book. It's a Kobzar. So it's not a Bible, but it's very close to that, and it's a very important person in our history and our culture. We keep the memory and we respect because he was always looking and working for the independence of Ukraine and for being independent, not only in culture but as a country. And the University of Shevchenko, we have institute under University for International Relations, and now we have 5 or 6 focuses, which is international law, international relations, classical, international economy, international business, and other ones, international information. And this is the focus on these cyber things, because today, now we're sitting here, I don't know how many of us, but at the same time, we never know who is also watching us, but no knowing, and we don't know who's watching us really. And there might be some issues and questions, and some of my words, for example, can be cut from inside and used not the right way. So I understand talking to you transparent and friendly. Sometimes it is used not, it's very unfriendly, yes? So I have to know, and we have to understand that it's no more safety if we talk about online issues.
I think nothing will be cut out from the context of what you are saying. So we will have a hope that cybersecurity in this case would not spoil our open lecture. But we have here our academic dean, who is probably experienced in cybersecurity topic. Ms. Viola Krebs, if you would like to have a word, please.
Yes, hello.
Hello, it's such an honor, His Excellency, to see you here.
My pleasure.
To see you here online. So we're talking about, in fact, my question I was about to put forward to this audience was very much technology related, and my dear colleague asked some of the things I was about to put forward. This being said, I would say, just in terms of my background, I have a past in banking, international relations, and also I did media studies. So what you're talking about is very much dear to my heart in some ways, and it's also something I'm sharing with my students. You were talking about cybersecurity, of course. I mean, we could go on and talk for hours about it, really, especially in the context of international relations. Maybe just one thought and a question to you would be, what do you think are the limits to artificial intelligence? Because also when we're talking about profiling, privacy, if we take on, some of the things that Jürgen Habermas said in other times about the public sphere and and the private sphere, which have been greatly challenged, you know, especially with COVID, even more so because people are being tracked, etc. I mean, what do you think in terms of the recommendations you could give to students? What would you have to say about artificial intelligence, studying that, and what can be the application to diplomacy in this context?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. It's very important because today, sometimes we face, let's call it lazy process, yes? So-called lazy cats issue. It's very easy to go online and just to make some reservations and stuff like that, which is good for our international communication and possibility to travel or whatever. But at the same time, if you put up an issue which makes your job easier but not happier, this is the limit, because it is very easy to lose the feeling of the job you're doing if you rely only on machines, on automatical issues, on not going, not doing, not finding something new. So what my point in this case is that the person himself, each person himself makes his limit, and it's always important to fill the limit, not to overcome and not to limit the possibilities of today. And for example, reading just books, it's important, but if you want to find something to Google, it's always important as well, because you find information quick, but you have to think, not what you find just first and send it or use it as a fact. You have to also find other solutions. Sometimes for students to go to the library, I used to go and I was proud going there and then saying, well, today or yesterday I was in the library in Kiev. We have a few very big libraries, and I had the permission, the card that was, at that time it was maybe first cards presented or made, because before it was something unusual for us. And I had this card, the entrance to the library, and I said, oh, look. And I was proud of that. So it is the limit of each person. You have to be and have a balance of the old-fashioned, my colleague is still here, I hope, and the real on-time world situation. And sometimes it's good to have things that are made for you, because it saves time, and time is a resource, and you can use it more positive and more important for something else. But sometimes you have to go through this, and of course it's a house you're building. You know, it's every information, every puzzle what is taken in everyday life. It's something that you use. I'm sorry. Я передзвоню зараз на конференції. Sorry, it's the phone ringing. So that's my opinion.
Thank you so much. Yes. I think it's obviously a very interesting topic, and it's very interesting to hear your perspectives. You know, you're sitting in obviously you have a very important diplomatic position, and I think also right now, as challenging the times may be, I have the feeling that there are many opportunities that are coming our way as well. When it comes to technologies precisely, because I think a couple of months ago even, probably we wouldn't have used this exact technology. And so you have new technologies popping up and new opportunities coming our ways, and sometimes obviously with new opportunities, new challenges as well. So I think it's fascinating to think about those things, and also it's very, very practical, hands-on, because it's happening right now, and we have to deal with it right now and see what comes our way, and how to best seize opportunities, and how to best address challenges as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, it was an important issue to discuss, and once again, the world is changing every day. You have to keep a track on that.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for your time. In order to respect the time, if participants have questions, we have 3 to 5 minutes to announce them. And I would like to have gratefulness in this special occasion because you've given a lot of insight for diplomatic world, and the combination of classic ways and innovative ways in a nowadays world. And you've been all the time very positive and energetic, and I think that all our students have received the good energy from your side, and now everybody will be inspired and they have this successful career as an example, because you are very young diplomat, and this should encourage also people.
Well, some of your colleagues mentioned that it's an old-fashioned style.
Yeah, but to write messages is still important, right?
Yes, yes, it's the truth. I'm joking, and I don't know about all the students and about the positive feelings and elements of today cooperation, let's say this way. But for me, I have received very positive signals that people are interested in international relations, and it is important for us to know that the new generations, new people with new minds are coming into this world, and we're looking forward to making this world better and better. And diplomacy, this is a really important way how to do it. Diplomacy, but not the other issues. I know it from my country, unfortunately, that different solutions are taken, but diplomacy, it's the best way to solve even the hardest problem.
We can see that you are very open and transparent, and due to the information about your biography that is open in the web page of Embassy of Ukraine in Switzerland, we also got to know that not only diplomacy is the common between you, Ambassador, and our colleague Daniel, because you also have birthdays so close to each other. So we are taking this opportunity to congratulate you and wish you good luck in your career.
Thank you very much.
And
Thank
all
you
the
for
family.
remembering that. My pleasure. Thank you very much. Yes, it's a day when you can do, you know, the so-called, as you were asking, where is the limit? Yeah. So this is the line when you can say, okay, this 1 year I have done that, all the points or not, and what is the strategy for the next year. So this is a day, a special day, not just to celebrate, also to do some reports for yourself.
Well, happy birthday, Your Excellency.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. And just as you gave us some interesting news that no one was really aware about, I would like to share a new development that we're considering here at UBIS as an extension of our international relations masters. We're considering proposing to our board the possibility of a diplomatic academy to develop new ways of thinking about how to bring the world closer, to integrate ideas of multiculturalism and tolerance among our students. And if permitted in the next few months, I would love to invite you to give us your insight so we can structure that into a new program that we are in the process of developing for 2021-2022.
Anytime, I'm open for discussion, I'm open for cooperation, and talking about the diplomatic academy we have back in Kyiv, under the Minister of Foreign Affairs, such academy, and we can think of cooperation, of course, and change of experience and exchange of students. So feel free to connect via Ina or directly. And once again, my job here is to build bridges. Yeah.
Thank you for your friendship. That is one of the most profound bridges that I know of, and it gladdens my heart.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much for all the participants. And if you have more questions, you can always text us and we will transmit them to the ambassador. And also, please wait for this recording in our YouTube channel, and you will be sent the presentation that ambassador kindly shared with us. So it will be sent to all the participants within today or tomorrow maximum. And
this is the best way to present my country and to present our Swiss-Ukrainian bilateral relations, and it can be a good sample, really an experience for all our students and for all our colleagues here. Thank you very much for your attention, for your time worldwide once again, and hope to see you, if not in person, but again online at least. Thank you, Ina.
Дуже дякуємо і слава Україні.
Щиро дякую, слава Україні. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye to everyone.
Thank you so much.